Chris, Lee and Blayne Gilmer of Southeastern 14, presented by Stakes. We preview every single football game involving SEC teams, not just this week, but the whole year. We're doing this on Sunday night, and we are going to be talking about LSU's trip to Florida. You can catch that 7 Eastern on ESPN. LSU got embarrassed in its home stadium, losing to Tennessee. Florida played a very pedestrian offensive game, but its defense was good enough to beat Missouri. This is a game between two teams that it maybe got more questions than answers right now, Blayne.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to be interesting to see who kind of responds to adversity a little bit. Weird to say that you ever have adversity after winning a game, but it certainly seemed like the consensus was Florida was supposed to handle business a little bit better than they did, especially offensively, as you pointed out, with Anthony Richardson only passing for 66 yards in that game against Missouri. And then, of course, LSU just getting destroyed at home. So it's going to be interesting to see who responds in this game. And Vegas seems to like Florida early, I believe, in this one, Chris.
Yeah, the Gators are 3-point favorites, over under in this one, 48.5. Let's start with LSU having the ball. The Tigers average 31.8 points a game. Florida gives up 25.3. If you adjust for sacks, LSU is getting 5.7 yards per rush. Florida giving up 4.9. 6.1 yards per pass play adjusted for sacks. Florida giving up 6.7. Gators have 6 interceptions this year, including 2 big ones on Saturday that helped seal that Missouri game. LSU has given up 21 sacks this year and was playing without its left tackle against Tennessee. And I presume that could go a little longer because the cause for absence was very not given at all, and the kid spent some time in the hospital. So anyway, what do you make of that side of the matchup?
Well, when it comes down to it, not only is LSU missing left tackle, but their left guard went down during that game as well. So the whole left side of the line was not there for LSU, and Tennessee certainly preyed upon that. That's one thing that Florida has some capable guys as pass rushers. Brenton Cox is one of them that can cause some havoc back there. So when you go on the road, Chris, one thing you want to be able to do is run the football and protect your quarterback. And when you got a banged up offensive line, it's going to be hard to do that. And one thing you can say about this Florida team is, as you mentioned before, the turnovers they caused against Missouri kind of helped them win that game. They've kind of had to the Florida defense has had to kind of carry the load at certain times this year, and luckily for them in the games they've won has been able to step up when needed. Had struggled to stop the run earlier in the year. We'll see how it goes in this matchup, but I am intrigued to see if Jaden Daniels can do some things, get that talented wide receiver core that just seems to be going underutilized right now. Chris, get them involved with what could be a makeshift offensive line in front of them. And then Billy Napier just hoping for continued good things out of his defense.
Did Keishon Butte get hurt in that game too?
I don't know about the injury, but I'll tell you what, it seems like the body language, it seems like his feelings get hurt a lot over there at LSU. Keishon Butte, it's been a roller coaster year for him, up and down. So if he is injured, I'm not even sure how much that impacts this LSU offense at this point, because there's been so much inconsistency from him, which is not what you would expect coming into the year.
Yeah, I think I misremember that. He did catch a fourth quarter touchdown in that game. I thought I might have heard he left for a little bit earlier in the game, but anyway, that's been an uneven situation and just one of the weird things about the Tigers' year. Before we talk about the other side of the ball, a lot of big games coming up in the SEC this week. To add some extra excitement, we at Southeastern 14 will be making some predictions in the Stakes app. That is STAKES. We want to hear from you guys if you agree or disagree with our takes. So go to playwithstakes.com/14. Sign up for stakes, place your prediction on our questions. If you use the invite code Southeastern14 when you sign up, you'll get a double welcome bonus. Stakes is always free to play. You can win stuff. You can have a lot of fun. Everything to like here. Join us in the Stakes app. Have some fun along with us. Okay, when the Gators have the ball, Florida scoring 30.8 a game, LSU giving up 19 even after that Tennessee debacle. Let's see. The Gators have thrown 7 interceptions. LSU's picked off 3. Florida's only been sacked 4 times. A lot of that's Anthony Richardson's mobility. LSU's generated 13 sacks. Had a bunch last year, too. And adjusted for sacks, LSU is giving up 4.5 yards a carry. Florida getting 6.6. If you adjust for sacks, Florida getting 8.1 per pass play. LSU giving up 6.4. Blayne, I think the Gators are just going to run in this one and see if LSU can stop it.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be the strength for Florida, certainly, because even though a very weird turn of over 400 yards passing, is you and I were talking before Anthony Richardson had against Tennessee. That's like more in that one game than he has the rest of the year combined. It seems like so. Jekyll and Hyde for the passing offense. So you would think that they would lean on Montrell Johnson, Etienne in the backfield, and also at this point, I know that the theme all year, Chris, has been, well, Florida's worried about their backup quarterback situation, so they don't want to run Anthony Richardson as much. Well, I mean, if you want to win these type of games of Florida this year, I think you've got to use Anthony Richardson's legs and at the strong point of his game. And if you get some of that stuff going early, then maybe you create some one-on-one matchups and they're able to use his big arm on the outside, to do some things. But I think you got to make things simpler by utilizing his strengths early. And then for LSU defensively, they just got shredded last week. But like I said, it was an aerial attack. No doubt they'll now Jabari Small also did run the ball for 5.9 yards per carry against last week too. So they got ran on as well. So they got to kind of go back to the drawing board altogether. That defensive front banged up. Of course, they lost Mason Smith earlier in the year and trying to piece things together. But Ojulari, Ali Gay, guys up front for them are still really good players. So it is going to be a good chess match there between Brian Kelly and Billy Napier when it comes to that. But excited to see which Florida offense shows up in this one, Chris.
Yeah, I had to double check the numbers because that can't be right. But Florida's averaging actually 7.3 yards a play, 435 yards of total offense. It's just been very uneven. And I think LSU will be one of the better defenses the Gators face. Okay, if you take the over-under and the lines, and this is just what we're seeing Sunday night, Florida is a 3-point favorite again at home, over-under 48.5. That is an implied final score of 26-23 Gators. Honestly, Blayne, I'm not sure either team gets to either number. I like Florida to win. I think it'll be close. I guess Florida covers. I mean, if you're going to pick a Florida win, you've only got 3 points to work with there. So I guess I'll take the Gators and the points and probably the under on this. We're not professional bettors, but we do watch a lot of SEC football. What are your thoughts here?
Only reason I'm going to take LSU on the road in this one is because if you go back and look at some of the performances that Florida's had, go back and look at the Utah game. I know they won that game, but Cameron Rising had a big day running the football as a quarterback against them. Hendon Hooker ran the football well against Florida. Jaden Daniels can do that with his legs, and I think LSU is at the point now. Brian Kelly, first year, he doesn't need to lose any more games. He needs to try to keep this thing rolling. So at this point, I think he knows he's got Garrett Nussmeier waiting in the wings. I know you never want to just run your quarterback into oblivion or anything, but I think Jaden Daniels will be utilized the way that Florida probably should utilize Anthony Richardson and get him involved in the run game and get some things going because he's athletic enough to do so. I think that'll cause Florida's defense some problems, and I think I like LSU to cover and win outright.
Yeah, LSU +3 in turnover margin, Florida +2. So not a lot of difference there. Florida's special teams a little bit better. Florida getting penalized a lot less than LSU. Florida, I think, the second least penalized team in the league, 34 yards a game. LSU almost 60. I'm going to stick with the Gators, although you made some points that made me perhaps reconsider between now and Wednesday. But for now, I'll stick with what I've got. We will update our picks on Wednesday night. That's when we do our live show every week. The best way to get that, as well as the rest of our content, is hit that subscribe button. Thank you to Stakes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon at Southeastern 14.